The next classroom incidental that I will be talking about is information for substitutes in the event that I'm not able to be at school that day. So the first thing I would do is to keep a sub binder with every piece of information the sub would need to know. If I knew I was going to be out prior to this, I would obviously leave the sub binder out. If I didn't, I would email the sub or leave a little sticky note all the time on my desk indicating where my sub binder is so that it's easily accessible for the sub. In the sub binder, I would include our overall class daily routine, class schedule. I would make this pretty detailed, but nothing too crazy for the sub to where that they can't comprehend it, because most likely your students are going to know your everyday schedule if it's something like a common routine. So I would just include the overview of the class schedule. I would also include, depending on how specials work in the school district, I would include what days have the specific specials, things like that. I would also include a seating chart if needed, and then student attendance list, things like that, emergency contacts, anything that the subs should be aware of. So students with IEPs or 504 plans or even disabilities, things like that, just so the sub is aware. Even if there's paras or other aides in the classroom too, I would notify the sub about that as well. Additionally, I would maybe introduce this to my students, explaining, okay, I may not be here this day. This is the sub binder, and also just go over the classroom expectations for when a sub is in the classroom with my students. I would also notify the sub. I feel like it's good to have at least one or two students that you know really are good with the routine. They're the students that follow directions, so the sub can know to go to those students if they need any extra assistance. So this ultimately, my idea of planning this ultimately connects to my philosophy, because it, once again, really focuses on strong communication. And I think this really aligns with Vygotsky's idea of social learning. So the routines stay stable and they're also predictable for both the student and for the sub if it's a reoccurring day where the sub is there. I think it's really good to keep a consistent routine with students because it allows them to comprehend better the material, and I think any child, when they are in a routine, they act better behaviorally, which I think is really important when creating a close-knit classroom community.